Where were you at in your journey at the time? And, what made you even begin to think about property investing coming from the Netherlands?
Our journey, so we moved to Australia 10 years ago, approximately 11 years. Time flies. And we always, I had my job, my wife was working part-time, and we just realized at one point, that's not going to cut it. We need to do something more. It's just a different system than in the Netherlands. So we chose property as a journey. And in the beginning, we were like, okay, are we going to go existing? Are we going to go new, off the plan, land and house package? What do we do? Analysis paralysis, right? So in the end, made up our minds, made a lot of inquiries about what would be right. We chose existing. So we got our first property in, and I think that property was performing really well. And then we hit the second property that we wanted to purchase. And it didn't go according to plan. I have to say that broker and myself, we just didn't align. And that's fine. That happens, right? So, but by that time, I already kicked off my equity loan. And the broker I worked with Kath, she is amazing. She helped us out with the first property. She's like, oh, Frank, that's actually a problem. Let me introduce you to Omar and Jed. So she introduced me to you guys, and I think it was such a valuable introduction. And I think we just hit it off from day one. And both you and Jed understood our urgency, and you just got to work straight away. I think that really helped us. Otherwise, we would just start paying that loan down, and no property in our portfolio yet. So for you to jump in that quickly, I think was highly beneficial for us. And it's all for us. It's serving that wealth goal, right? And the two wealth goals we had was, okay, we want to get our PPR, about 3 to 4 years time, but we also at one point want to see passive income replacing our income. Not to say we have to retire, but those are pretty much our main goals. That's why we started the property journey, and I'm really grateful for Kat doing the introduction, and it's been worthwhile.
Yeah, shout out to Kat Stevens. She's an absolute gun at what she does. If you need a broker, she's the girl to go to. She's, of course, highly competent at what she does, and she told us of the nuances that you had within your journey and your experience with the other BA that you were working with at the time. And we wanted to make sure something happened for you, because just because someone wasn't competent enough to do the job doesn't mean that you shouldn't get the best outcome for yourself, because that's what you intended. And that's what we wanted to do from day dot, get you the best outcome we possibly could do and achieve. And I think that, we had a really good sort of journey, but of course, we want to hear it from yourself. How was the experience? Starting off with Citadel, and what really stood out to you, because you had used someone else beforehand.
So 2 things that are really important, I think: strategy, but also execution. And with the strategy and execution, I think the personal relationship should be there as well. Well, we just spoke about that, and I think you and Jed 100% tick that box. But strategy is really important. Didn't see that with the first property we bought. And you just got to work straight away. For me, the benefit was, okay, we'll onboard you as quickly as possible. Whatever we don't have to do and can be done a bit later, but we don't have to do now to start the property search, just to get you going. You were really pragmatic, and that really helped us in such a good way. Then a game plan, because you're working with game plans as well, planning out that strategy for us, looking at PPR, looking at our overall retirement goal. I think you've done an awesome job there.
Yeah, no, and I think the property's actually done incredibly well. Also, we purchased it in a regional area in Victoria for about $525,000, and your property, I think, by now has grown around about $60,000 in the last 6 months. So that's about $10,000 in capital growth per month. And of course, that was always the aim. The aim was to get you to that passive income goal and have an amount that we can put towards your permanent place of residence. So we needed capital as quickly as possible. So the area that we took you to, high capital growth with a stronger rental yield, so you can continue to grow your portfolio. I think we executed on that and got you there in a way that was very efficient, which is really, really important. How has the property been so far? What are some of the things that you've seen in it? I mean, has it married up to your expectations?
It did, yes. It had married up. property itself was slightly older already, but with the current tenant in there, tenant has left now, by the way, unfortunately. But with that tenant in there, the property was maintained very well. And by the looks of it, and also the conversation I had with Jed on how the property is growing, it absolutely exceeded our expectations.
And that property will continue to grow further and further. And we spoke about, expectations on capital growth based on our assumptions at the moment. It's already done double the national average in a short 6 months. So hopefully by the time you hit the end of the year, based on our 6-month catch up after purchasing that property, it should hopefully reach that, 20% even, and that's a result that we want to achieve across all our clients. But of course, with the execution, understanding your strategy, what was really important to you, we were able to do that. And that's why it's so important to measure twice and cut once. And finally, last question. You've obviously had a good experience with us and we absolutely loved working with you, Frank. What's next from here? Would you work with Citadel again? Would you recommend us to your friends and family? What are the things that you'd leave us off with?
I 100% would recommend Citadel. Let's start with that first. I think one huge benefit is, like, you and Jed manage the business, and you're also my talking point. And I think that's highly beneficial. We discuss strategy, we discuss the execution, and you're involved all the way through, even if I'm having a chat with Jed, but really serious stuff. And it's not always serious, of course. You just, I don't know, stick your head around the corner. It's like, hey, Frank, how you going? But for me, that's really important, that there's a personal connection. So I would highly recommend you to friends and family. Would be a bit weird for my family in the Netherlands, though. But besides that point, I would highly recommend you.
And if we're not talking about business, of course, it's usually the kickboxing. It's usually work-related. It's always something on a personal level. And I think that's so important. People are missing the personal touch in this industry a lot of the time. What they're focusing on is numbers and how quickly they can get a person in and out the door. And of course, everyone's got business metrics, but if you've got a human touch, you got to go to really the core of your business. And if the core of your business is to make people feel overwhelmingly, cared for, and there is a personal touch there, and there is rapport building, those people will become your advocates. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to focus on the human touch, the personal touch, understand things about your life, because we want to be with you like an accountant is. You touch base with them every year. You see how your property's currently performing. What are the next steps? You don't want to just sort of buy something for someone and in the next 7 years you don't know what they're doing, where we have a set game plan. Should you be selling in the 3rd year? Where is the area at within the property clock, and is it reaching its peak? Is there further growth to go, or should we sell down that property and buy a different asset that's going to outperform that current asset? What's the dollar for dollar comparison? And that's what we always try to do with our 6-month and annual catch-ups. And I think that's where we differ a lot in terms of our service, of course. But it's been absolutely wonderful to work with you, Frank, and absolutely wonderful to chat with you. You're a legend of a person, and hopefully we can continue to work again, mate. Hopefully the more and more success towards your property.
Sounds great. You touched on a really good thing, by the way, and I just want to share that, because we talk a lot about, like, the expertise, and I think it's 100% there, but also data-driven. Because yes, there's a personal touch, but being data-driven and also having that expertise, that experience in-house. And I have to say, like, hey, you drive the business together with Jed, but Jed is your data man, right? Like, you call that out on a few occasions, and I think that definitely showed.
Oh, he's definitely our I wouldn't say secret weapon, but he's driving a lot of great results for our clients. And I mean, 15 years corporate experience with data analytics definitely doesn't go unnoticed when it comes to the results. So, it's the reason why we've got the game changer in terms of our process and our results. So fantastic. We're very thankful for Jed.
And I'm very thankful for you both.
Oh, thank you very much, Frank. You're an absolute, you're too nice. You're making us blush here. No, but thank you very much. It was great to work with you, and hopefully we can continue.